Hi, this is Melissa Vasquez with MPA 580, and today we're going to be discussing ethics and how it is applied to the Department of Public Health. So, how our code of ethics, how we can be guided to uh, make decisions on how we carry out our jobs and duties. So, to start, who is the Department of Public Health? So, they are comprised uh, from from practitioners to scientists who come from a variety of disciplines and represent numerous scientific and technical areas of study. What they do is that they promote and protect the health of people and communities alike, and they develop policies and procedures that are backed by scientific evidence. So why is it important to develop um, procedures and policies that are scientifically backed? Well, there's a numerous there's various ethics involved here, from virtue that helps us establish our credibility, to contracts. We have written and unwritten contracts either to the public or to stakeholders alike, and we try to maximize the use of resources. We try to take a utilitarian approach to the maximization of resources and how we apply this to the field and making sure that it is applied fairly and equitably. As we're developing policies and procedures, we have specific criteria, and you'll see here that it goes from um, making sure that we're accountable, that we're transparent, that we have public participation, making sure that they're applied to all groups and that they're effective. And by effectiveness, we mean that they're, again, that they go back to, are they backed by by reputable scientific evidence? But you're also going to see that some of these criteria there, they overlap between these ethical theories, such as respecting individuals, and making sure that the benefits and costs uh, that they give, that they're the result of making sure that the whole is better. And so let's apply this to uh, one scenario and enforcement and compliance, and how we're going to go about it and develop in going through the ethical process of developing this specific scenario. So the task is to develop a standard operating procedure that will assist staff to take enforcement actions against a regulated industry when they do not meet food safety regulatory requirements. Depending on the severity of the violations, actions can range from a simple discussion to civil action resulting in fines. So the first thing to look into is, do we have the authority to take action? Is it within the law? If it's not in the law, then we need to go through the normal avenues and go through the democratic and judicial process. For respect, we need to make sure that we're adhering to due process of law and that we're allowing uh, the violators to respond to the violations that we're seeing. For reciprocity, we need to make sure that measures are reasonable to prevent potential harm by the proposed action. So, what does it mean? Let's say that it's a very minor thing for documentation. Do we want to add unnecessary burden to the company just for um, a simple mistake on their documentation when it's not resulting in someone getting sick? The effectiveness. Well, is the proposed action backed by scientific evidence in order to achieve the intended public health goal? So, for instance, if we say that someone is going to get sick and that's why we're going to issue a violation and issue a maximum penalty, is it really backed by scientific evidence that someone is going to get sick? Uh, Now, going to responsible use of scarce resources, does the action merit the expenditure? Well, when we are saying that someone's going to get sick, we need to have the evidence. If we have the evidence, then we need to be able to use our resources to get that product immediately out of commerce. the question is, are we taking these measures for simple things that where people are not going to get sick or where people are going to get sick? In terms of proportionality, are the benefits and costs reasonable, and are they distributed equitably and in a fair and non-discriminatory way? One way to look at this is whether we're applying it only to small groups or big groups. Are we applying it to only large companies or only small companies? We need to be able to apply these across the board for everyone in order to make sure that product is safe. Um, Finally, we have accountability and transparency. We already discussed that we need to make sure that the procedures we take are backed by scientific evidence, that we are gaining the public's trust, and that we're open to the public. That we're open to the public in regards to the actions that we take and how it is that we determine we come to those specific actions. And finally, public participation, making sure that we collaborate with educational partnerships or the public or the industry so that we're all on the same page. This concludes my ethics training. These are my references. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.